December 1975, Santa Monica. John Wayne walked out of a restaurant with his assistant. Across the street, a homeless man sat against a building, barefoot in the winter cold. What Wayne did next, and what his assistant secretly photographed, wouldn't be discovered for years. And when that photograph finally surfaced decades later, it would reveal a truth about Wayne that even his closest friends never knew. Here is the story. Santa Monica, California, December 18, 1975. Wayne has seen this man before, 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Always in the same area, always alone, always barefoot. The man sits against a brick wall near Ocean Avenue. Thin, dirty clothes, blank stare. Maybe 40 years old, maybe older. Hard to tell. Wayne noticed him first about 15 days ago, driving past. Then again a week later. Then 3 days ago. Same spot, same man, same empty expression. Tonight is different. Tonight Wayne sees him up close. Wayne and his assistant just finished dinner at a seafood restaurant on Wilshire. It's 8:30 p.m. Cold for California. Maybe 45 degrees. The assistant is young, early 30s. Been working for Wayne about 6 months. They walk out. Wayne buttons his coat. The assistant pulls his collar up against the wind. Across the street, maybe 50 yards away, the homeless man sits. No shoes, no coat. Just torn pants and a thin shirt. Wayne stops, looks at him. The assistant notices Wayne staring, follows his gaze, sees the homeless man. "Sad," the assistant says. "I heard he's a Vietnam veteran. Couldn't get his life together after the war. I hope he finds his way. God bless him." Wayne says nothing, just keeps looking. "I hope so," he finally says. The assistant shivers. "It's freezing out here. Should we head to the cars?" "Yeah, you go ahead." The assistant nods. "Good night, Mr. Wayne." "Night." The assistant walks to his car, parked down the block. Wayne watches him go, waits until the assistant turns the corner. Then Wayne walks to his own car, gets in, sits in the driver's seat, checks the rearview mirror, makes sure the assistant is gone. He starts the engine, drives forward about 50 yards, parks again, closer to the homeless man. Wayne gets out, walks across the street. The man doesn't look up, just stares at the sidewalk. Wayne stops in front of him. "Evening." The man looks up slowly, squints, doesn't recognize him. "Can I sit?" The man shrugs. Wayne sits down on the curb next to him. The concrete is cold through his pants. "What's your name?" "Gary." "Gary, I'm Duke." Gary nods. Doesn't seem to know who Wayne is, doesn't care. "You served in Vietnam?" Gary's eyes flicker. "How'd you know?" "Heard someone mention it. When did you come back?" 72, 3 years ago." "How long were you over there?" 2 tours, 68 to 70. Wayne nods, says nothing for a moment, just sits with him. "You okay?" Wayne finally asks. Gary laughs, bitter sound. "Do I look okay?" "No." Gary turns to look at Wayne, really sees him for the first time, still doesn't recognize him. "You a cop?" "No." "Social worker?" "No." "Then what do you want?" "Just talking." They sit in silence for a minute. Traffic passes, a few cars, not many. It's late, it's cold, most people are home. "Where are your shoes?" Wayne asks. "Lost them." "When?" 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, don't remember." "Your feet must be freezing." Gary looks down at his feet, like he's seeing them for the first time. "Yeah." Wayne looks at them too, cracked, bleeding, infected. "What happened after you came back?" Gary's face goes blank. "Couldn't find work, PTSD, nightmares. Couldn't hold a job, lost my apartment, lost everything." "No family?" "Had a wife. She left in 73. Can't blame her." "How long you been on the streets?" 4 years, maybe 5. Lost count." Wayne's jaw tightens, but his voice stays calm. What happened? Gary tells him. The story comes out slowly, piece by piece. He came home in '72, couldn't sleep, couldn't work. The jobs he found, he lost. Fired for showing up late, fired for calling in sick too much, fired for losing his temper at customers. He moved around, different jobs, different cities, trying to find something that worked. Nothing did. Then, in '73, someone scammed him, took his savings, what little he had left, $5,000, gone. His wife left, his apartment went away, his car got repossessed. He ended up on the streets. Been there ever since. What about the VA? Wayne asks. Gary shakes his head. Tried. Paperwork's a nightmare. They want proof of service. I lost my documents. Can't prove anything. Wayne looks at him. This man fought for his country. Now he's sitting on a curb with no shoes, no home, no hope. Gary, what can I do for you? What do you need? Gary looks at him, suspicious. Why do you care? Because you served. That matters. Nobody else thinks so. I do. Gary studies Wayne's face, still doesn't recognize him, just sees an older man in an expensive coat asking questions. You got $3? I could eat tonight. I can do more than that. Don't need charity. It's not charity. Then what is it? It's paying what I owe. Gary frowns. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. Every American owes you something. You fought. We didn't. Gary looks away. I don't want handouts. What if it's not a handout? What if it's help getting back on your feet? Nobody can help me. I'm too far gone. That's not true. You don't know me. I know you're alive. That means it's not too late. They sit in silence. Gary stares at the sidewalk again. Wayne waits. Finally, Gary speaks. If you really want to help, just give me enough for dinner. That's all I need. Wayne reaches into his wallet, pulls out a $100 bill, hands it to Gary. Gary's eyes widen. This is too much. Take it. I said $3, and I'm giving you $100. Take it, Gary. Gary takes the money, hands shaking. Why are you doing this? Because you deserve better than this. A soldier shouldn't be on the streets. Gary's throat works. He looks like he might cry, but he doesn't, just nods. Wayne stands up. His knees crack. He's 68 years old, getting too old to sit on cold concrete. Gary, I'm serious. If you need more help, I can arrange it. This is enough. It's not, but I understand. Wayne walks back to his car, doesn't look back. Gary watches him go. 50 yards down the street, Wayne's assistant is in his car. He came back, left his scarf at the restaurant, went back to get it, saw Wayne's car parked up ahead. He got curious, walked closer, saw Wayne sitting with the homeless man on the curb, talking. For half an hour. The assistant stands by his car now, watches them. He doesn't want to interrupt. This feels private. He opens his glove compartment, takes out his camera, a small Polaroid. He bought it last month, carries it everywhere now. From inside his car, he takes one photo. Wayne sitting on the curb next to Gary. Two men in the streetlight, one in an expensive coat, one in rags. Click. The photo slides out. The assistant waves it in the air, watches it develop slowly. Wayne's face appears. Gary's face. The empty street. He puts the photo in his pocket, watches Wayne stand up, watches Wayne walk to his car, watches him drive away. The assistant sits in his own car, thinks about what he just saw, decides not to follow Wayne home, decides to give him privacy. He drives home. The photo stays in his pocket. December 19th, 1975, next day. The assistant meets Wayne at his office in Newport Beach. Wayne is at his desk, going through mail. His face is tight, distracted. Good morning, Mr. Wayne. Wayne looks up. Morning. The assistant sits down. You all right? You seem upset. I'm fine. You sure? Wayne sets down the mail. Just tired. The assistant hesitates. Is it about the man you talked to last night? The homeless veteran? Wayne's head snaps up. How do you know about that? I saw you. I went back to get my scarf. You were sitting with him. Wayne leans back in his chair, silent for a moment. You saw that? Yes, sir. I didn't want to interrupt. Wayne rubs his face. Yeah, it's about him. What happened? He's a Vietnam vet, lost everything. Been on the streets for years. I tried to help. He refused. Refused? Too proud. Only took enough money for dinner. Wouldn't accept more. The assistant nods slowly. That must be frustrating. It's wrong. A man who served his country shouldn't live like that. What were you planning to do for him? Wayne spreads his hands. I don't know. Anything. Everything. He needs help. Medical help. He needs a job, a home, but he won't take it. The assistant sits forward, an idea forming. Mr. Wayne, he knows who you are? No, didn't recognize me. And he won't take help from you because of pride? That's right. But he doesn't know me. Wayne frowns. So? So what if I go to him, as a government worker? Tell him I'm from the VA. Tell him we found his records. Tell him he qualifies for treatment and housing assistance. Wayne stares at him. Would he believe that? He might. He tried to get help from the VA before, lost his paperwork. If I show up with official-looking documents, say we found his file, he might accept it. Wayne's eyes light up. For the first time today, he looks alive. You'd do that? Yes, sir. Why? Because you're right. It's wrong. He deserves better. Wayne stands up, walks around the desk, puts his hand on the assistant's shoulder. You organize it. I'll cover everything, every cost, medical bills, housing, whatever he needs. I'll get started today. Before we continue our story, tell me where you watch from. Let's see which place has the most fans of the Duke. The assistant moves fast. First, he calls a private hospital in Santa Monica, explains the situation. Not the whole truth, just enough. A veteran needs treatment. Anonymous donor covering costs. Can they help? They can. Next, he creates fake documents, types up official-looking papers on VA letterhead. He borrows the letterhead from a friend who works at the VA, fills in Gary's name, makes it look legitimate. Then he goes back to Ocean Avenue, December 20th, 1975. Gary is in the same spot. Still no shoes. The assistant approaches him, clipboard in hand, professional demeanor. Gary? Gary looks up, suspicious. Who's asking? I'm from the Veterans Administration. We found your records. Gary's eyes narrow. I don't have records. Lost them. We located them in our archives. You served 68 to 70, 2 tours, Purple Heart. Gary sits up straighter. How do you know that? It's in your file. Look, I know you tried to get help before. The system failed you. We're fixing that now. What do you want? I want to get you off the street. Medical treatment first, then housing, then employment assistance. Why now? It's been 3 years. Because we found your file. Because you earned this. Because it's the right thing to do. Gary stares at him, wanting to believe, afraid to hope. This real? It's real. What's the catch? No catch. You served. We owe you. Gary's voice cracks. I don't know. Gary, you're sick. Your feet are infected. You need treatment. Let us help. Long silence. Gary looks at his feet, looks at the assistant, looks at the clipboard. Okay. The next 2 months are busy. The assistant takes Gary to the hospital, checks him in, uses a fake name for the billing. Wayne covers everything. $15,000 for treatment, infection treatment, dental work, PTSD counseling. Gary doesn't know who's paying, thinks it's the VA. The assistant keeps up the fiction, visits twice a week, brings updates, brings clothes, brings hope. Wayne asks for reports. The assistant gives them. Gary's responding well to treatment. His feet are healing. He's gaining weight, talking more, starting to believe in the future again. In February, near the end of treatment, the assistant arranges a job. Cashier position at a Safeway on Wilshire. Basic work, steady hours, decent pay. He also arranges housing, a small studio apartment 3 blocks from the grocery store, furnished. First 6 months' rent paid. The assistant presents it to Gary as VA benefits, employment assistance, housing voucher. Gary believes it, signs the papers, moves in. By March 1976, Gary has been off the streets for 3 months. He has a home, a job, clean clothes, hope. The assistant reports back to Wayne. He's doing well, working full-time, apartment is clean. He's even talking about going back to school. Wayne smiles. First real smile in months. Good, that's good. Should we tell him the truth? No. Let him think it's the government. He needs to keep his pride. June 1976. 6 months after that night on the curb, Wayne is in Santa Monica, nearby for a meeting. He decides to check on Gary, tells his assistant he wants to see for himself. Which Safeway? The assistant gives him the address, Wilshire and 14th. Wayne drives there alone, parks in the lot, walks inside. It's mid-afternoon, not crowded, a few customers browsing. Wayne grabs a basket, picks up a few items, bread, milk, eggs, things he doesn't need, just an excuse to check out. He walks to the registers, 3 lanes open. Gary is working the middle one. Wayne stops, looks at him. Gary is different. Clean, shaved, haircut, Safeway uniform, focused on his work. He's scanning groceries for an elderly woman, smiling at her, making small talk. Wayne gets in his line, waits, 2 customers ahead of him. When his turn comes, Wayne sets his basket on the counter. Gary looks up, sees him. For a second, Gary's face goes blank, trying to place him. Then recognition flickers. But it's not recognition of John Wayne, the actor. It's recognition of the man on the curb. "Hey," Gary says. "I know you." "Hi, Gary. You're the guy from December on Ocean Avenue." "That's right." Gary's face changes, brightens. "Man, you won't believe what happened to me." "Tell me." "The VA found me, got me into a program, treatment, housing, this job. Everything turned around." Wayne smiles. "That's great, Gary. Really great. I don't know how they found me, but they did. I'm getting my life back." "You deserve it." Gary scans Wayne's items. Bread, milk, eggs. "You saved my life, you know, that night. That $100. I bought food, got a coat. That kept me alive until the VA showed up." Wayne's throat tightens. "I'm glad I could help." "You did more than help, you gave me hope." The total comes up, $12. Wayne hands Gary a 20. Gary makes change. Their hands touch for a second. "Thank you," Wayne says. "No, thank you. For giving a damn when nobody else did." Wayne takes his bag, nods, walks out. In the parking lot, he sits in his car for 5 minutes. Doesn't start the engine, just sits. Thinking about Gary. About the change 6 months made. About the second chance that's possible when someone cares. He drives home. Calls the assistant that evening. "I saw him." "How is he?" "Good, really good, thank you. For everything you did." "It was your money, Mr. Wayne. But it was your plan, your work. I couldn't have done it without you." "Happy to help, sir." "One more thing. This stays between us. Nobody else needs to know." "Understood." 3 days later, the assistant brings something to Wayne's office, an envelope. "What's this?" Wayne asks. "Something I took that night, December 18th, when I went back for my scarf." Wayne opens the envelope. Inside is the Polaroid. Wayne sitting on the curb next to Gary. 2 men under a streetlight, one in a coat, one in rags, both just talking. Wayne stares at it. His face softens. "I didn't know if I should show you," but I thought you might want it." Wayne keeps looking at the photo. "You can keep it." "You sure?" "Yeah, it's yours." The assistant takes the photo back, slides it into his wallet. "Thank you, Mr. Wayne." Wayne waves him off. "Just doing what's right." The assistant leaves. Wayne goes back to his paperwork, but his mind stays on that photo. That night. That moment when he sat down next to a stranger and tried to help. He never speaks about it again. Years pass. Wayne dies in June 1979. Cancer. The funeral is massive. Thousands attend. The assistant is there, in the back, quiet. He doesn't talk to reporters, doesn't share stories, just stands there remembering the man he worked for. That photo stays in his wallet. He carries it everywhere, never shows anyone, never mentions it, just keeps it close. 1995, 16 years after Wayne's death. The assistant is older now, early 60s, still living in California, still carrying that wallet, still carrying that photo. He's walking through a park in Santa Monica. Spring day, sunny. He sees a man on a bench, reading a newspaper. The man looks familiar, older, gray hair, reading glasses, but familiar. The assistant stops, stares, realizes. It's Gary. The assistant walks over. "Gary?" Gary looks up, squints. "Yes? We met a long time ago, December 1975. I helped you get into a VA program." Gary's face changes, recognition. You're the guy from the VA. You found my records." "That's right. I never got to thank you properly. You saved my life. Can I sit?" "Please." They sit together on the bench, two old men in the sun. Gary tells his story, the past 20 years, how the job at Safeway led to management training, how he moved up, how he met someone. Remarried in 1980, 2 kids now, grown. One's a teacher, one's a nurse. "I have a good life," Gary says, "because of what happened in 1975, because someone cared enough to help me when I had nothing." The assistant smiles. "I'm glad it worked out. You know what I remember most? That night on Ocean Avenue, before you found me. A man sat with me, just talked. He gave me $100. I never knew his name, but he's the reason I was still alive when you showed up. I remember that man. You know him?" "I did." "Think he knows what happened to me? I always wanted to thank him." The assistant's throat tightens. "He died, long time ago." Gary's face falls. "Oh, I'm sorry." "Don't be. He knew. He knew you'd be okay." They sit in silence, watching people walk by, watching children play, watching life happen. Finally, the assistant speaks. "Can I show you something?" "Sure." The assistant pulls out his wallet, opens it, takes out a photo. Old Polaroid, faded, corners bent from 20 years in a wallet. He hands it to Gary. Gary looks at it, sees himself, young, dirty, sitting on a curb, next to an older man in a coat, under a streetlight. "This is me," Gary whispers. "This is that night." "Yes." "Who took this?" "I did." Gary looks closer at the other man in the photo, the one in the coat, the one sitting next to him, the one whose face is visible under the streetlight. His eyes widen. "That's John Wayne." "Yes." "The John Wayne?" "Yes." Gary's hands start shaking. "I talked to John Wayne? I didn't even recognize him." "He didn't want you to. He just wanted to help." "But you said you were from the VA. You said—" "I lied. I worked for Wayne. He saw you that night. He tried to help. You refused. So we came up with a plan. I pretended to be from the VA. Wayne paid for everything. The hospital, the apartment, the first 6 months at Safeway. All of it. He wanted you to have your pride. So we let you think it was the government." Gary stares at the photo. His eyes fill with tears. "John Wayne did this? For me? For you. Why? Because you served, because you deserved better, because he couldn't serve and that haunted him his whole life. Helping you was his way of paying a debt. Gary's crying now, not sobbing, just tears running down his face. I never knew. I never thanked him. He didn't want thanks. He wanted you to have a life. But he's gone. I can't tell him what his help meant. I can't show him my kids. I can't. The assistant puts his hand on Gary's shoulder. Gary, listen to me. You want to thank John Wayne? Yes. Then be good. Be a good man. Be a good father. Be a good husband. Wayne knew you were a good man. He knew you deserved more than that curb. You had something inside you worth saving. He saw it. So you honor him by being the man he believed you could be. Gary looks at the photo again. Wayne sitting next to him. Two men on a cold December night. One with everything. One with nothing. Both just human beings. Can I keep this? The assistant hesitates. He's carried this photo for 20 years. It's the last piece of that night. The last proof of what Wayne did when nobody was watching. But Gary needs it more. It's yours, the assistant says. Gary holds the photo carefully, like it might break. Thank you. For everything. For lying to me. For helping me. For showing me this. Wayne did the heavy lifting. I just organized it. But you cared. Both of you cared when nobody else did. They sit together for a few more minutes. Then Gary has to go. Meet his wife. Take his grandkids to the beach. Before he leaves, he shakes the assistant's hand. Holds it tight. I'll never forget this. Never. I know. Gary walks away. The photo is in his shirt pocket, over his heart, where it'll stay for the rest of his life. The assistant sits alone on the bench. His wallet feels lighter without that photo, but his chest feels fuller. He did the right thing. Wayne did the right thing. And Gary got to live the life he deserved. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. Sometimes that's everything. Wayne never wanted recognition for helping Gary. He just wanted a soldier to have a second chance. He paid for treatment, housing, and hope, but let Gary believe it came from the government. Because preserving a man's dignity mattered more than taking credit for kindness. That photo captured the moment when a Hollywood legend sat on a cold curb with a forgotten veteran and reminded him that his life still mattered. What would you do if you could help someone without them ever knowing it was you? Sometimes the greatest gifts we give are the ones we never take credit for, and unfortunately they don't make men like John Wayne anymore.